Hi there. So eventually every RYOBI 18 volts nickel cadmium battery will die. So as many of you, I did rework, and let me share it with you. I did it a little bit different than other people do. It's much simpler, and let me get into the details. So first of all, I removed all original old batteries and I left one in a stand. I soldered two wires to the clamps. Black one is the positive and white one is the negative. Then I took surface mount holder. It's much better because it has big contacts, and I soldered them in a check crossed order. So that's the beginning, which will be in the future negative. Then I soldered two of them together, and then two together, and the last one will be positive. Also, in a stand, I removed two standoffs here, and responsively here. So it will be easier later on to put the whole assembly. I made a notch for the cable to go out, and I made a hole and placed 5.5 millimeter male connector. So we will solder plus and negative. And I also bought this kind of cable. Maybe it's not really easy to see, but it's a 4-inch so named 5S1P extension cable, and as you can see, it has one side, another side, and a responsive mating connector. So later on I solder it like this, negative to the negative, and then every other one to the corresponding clamps. And I use a cable which will go out to the charger. Please observe that the protrusion, it's here on a right, and you have a white cable which corresponds to the negative connection. So to the negative connection here I also soldered from clamps and one from this connector, and it will go, and on the other side positive goes to here, and positive goes to this 5.5 millimeter plug. So later on, all you need to do is just place connectors, batteries inside, put them together and solder, making sure that this cable goes to the protrusion, approximately like this on another still connected pack. Now about the B6 Max charger. You will need to make a cable which on one side will be banana, another one will be plugged into the already discussed 5.5 millimeter socket. Middle one I usually use for the positive, so to be consistent. And you place this 5S, which stands for signal or single, observing that the white, which is negative, goes to the very up portion of 5S connector. When you do the charge, that's the screen which you will see, and then when you press enter, observe that say you can choose amount of amperage and how many cells. In this case it's 5S, and you can change this one by configuring this B6 Max charger. Now let's talk about the advantages. I guess it's very simple, very easy to make, rework, I would say. Keep in mind, you don't need to solder no of 18650 batteries. You don't need to place and guess what the right BMS will be inside of the pack. All this work will be done by, the guessing of the BMS will be done by this charger, which is outside. Second of all, it's if even one of batteries inside of the pack will go bad, it's easy to disassemble and remove it from the holder and placed another one and do not throw away the whole pack which would have been soldered or welded before that. And advantages also I would point that say you can only do not only the charge but also prepared for the stoppage, discharge, balance, so all of the batteries will be inside balanced, and you can also do discharge. So that's very useful, and again this B6 Max, it's really not expensive, and also you can use it for very different kind of the batteries, even including your own auto battery, so you can even charge the battery in your car. Disadvantages I may point that you still have this dongle cable running outside, and it may be not very useful, but again you always can push it inside and minimize it dangling. And another disadvantage that you will need B6 Max, but again, as I mentioned, it's a lot of positives which you can use it. Now about this cable, additionally, which I wanted to say, as you can see, this is 4-inch or 10 centimeters cable. You also can find on eBay or on Amazon 10 inches or 25 centimeter cable. In this case, you don't need to have this kind of transition from one cable to another. You can only solder just a long cable to the connectors of these holders, and you will be done. I guess that's it of that. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.